Good morning. Today is Tuesday, February 10th, and you are here at the Policy and Operations Committee meeting. First item on our agenda is public comment. Dee, you know the drill? 3 minutes. I better tell you anyways. If I don't give you that limit, you might go 5.
All right, for sure.
All right.
How y'all doing? Happy Black History, y'all. D. Jones. I am a black historian too, I'd say. Yesterday I got to go to an event, all packed, and I heard the deputy court administrator speak. And the Youth Justice Influence League that I developed in partnership with you guys, I've been able to do some beautiful things with esports and gaming, especially helping students get into esports programs after getting off for probation and off for surveillance. They still continuously do that program, and I spoke to her about potentially being able to get back and partnering with the courts again. And she let me know actually that it started from this on Cedar Street, and now they're expanding that program to 2 other facilities. So now it's going in 3 programs. I mean, now it's going in 3 Kent County facilities. And I'm happy about that because I knew that that was going to expand, as I've already had conversations with people across states about the Youth Justice Influence League. So happy that the stuff that I've created here is really having a real economic impact, but actually having a true economic impact on the justice system. And it was really good to hear that. Also, I'm actually, you guys have a diagram in front of you, so I'm actually a featured creator on a decentralized streaming platform called Party, and I'm actually helped structuring and shaping what digital finance is going to be. So this coin, the Party token, has actual real utility use for 3D printing construction. I'm actually working with Texas Southern University, a historical black college, with the same decentralized streaming platform to do a competition where students can earn $10,000 to $20,000 in digital finance cryptocurrency, where they'd actually be able to pay their bills or do whatever they like to. But we're going to have 2 competitions, one for esports players and then one for the general population of students on the campus. And so as you guys probably know, Texas is a very, very Bitcoin-friendly and cryptocurrency-friendly state, but it's also the grandfather of 3D printing, as the company Icon, which Al probably spoke to people about, the 100 homes and showed people the 60 minutes, but I actually have the people in my phone that actually have 3D printed those homes and trained 150 technicians and ran 12 3D printers at one time. And so I know this is very, very innovative stuff. I'm looking at 3D print houses here across Kent County, being able to truly have an economic, equitable impact on the community, as I'm already having an economic, equitable impact on the justice system, on the community, and looking to truly create truly affordable 3D printed housing here in the future, hopefully this year. So you guys look at this diagram, because this is the future of digital finance, and it's going to do beautiful things, as I'm already working with historical black colleges to increase the equity on campuses. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. I appreciate that. Is there anyone else that would like to address the committee? All right, seeing no one, we will go on to the approval of last meeting's minutes. Do I have a motion by DeBoer, supported by Faber? Any comments, questions, changes, or concerns? If not, all those in favor, please say yes. Yes. All those opposed, last meeting's minutes have been approved. Next item on our agenda, special order of business, the Kent County Community Action Annual Report. Gustavo, I really appreciate moving this up for us. We called them here a few weeks ago with a few of our members going to be gone at NACO next meeting. I really appreciate you moving that up on our behalf. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I very much appreciate it. It's always nice to be in front of you and present on all the great things that we have been doing at KCCA. So if it's all right with you, I can get started. And moving it up didn't cause me to rush on a presentation or anything. I just want to make sure you're okay. All right. So we're going to, just a quick overview, we're going to talk about who we are, some of our programs and services, our key performances for 2025, community impact that we've had over the course of 2025, some of the challenges and solutions that we focused on or had in 2025, and also what we're excited about here in 2026 and moving forward. Our mission, we build thriving communities and support Kent County residents to meet basic needs and achieve long-term stability. Our vision is that we bridge gaps, foster collaboration, and efficiently use resources to reduce poverty and grow communities where everyone can thrive. This is the team. I'll steal something from Al. This is the dream team for KCCA. We've been expanding it over the last few years. We originally had Rachel Kunith, Chad Kaufman, and Sherry Gillespie were our core leadership team. We've added Carrie Irwin recently for fiscal division for KCCA, which was really important for me. And then also Ashley Huey, who is actually, I believe, here today. Raise your hand, there you are. And Cherie is also with us right now. This core group is what makes everything happen. And you'll see we have a couple other folks on there, our supervisors. We have a team of about 40 individuals overall within each division. But this is the core group that we meet regularly and make impactful decisions. This is the core programs and services. As I mentioned, we have the 3 program managers, so we have an emergency services division. This is all of our rental assistance, utility assistance, mortgage foreclosure assistance, our food access programs. We're able to do 125 food boxes last year alone. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. We also provide right now plumbing repair services. It's really big on utility assistance right now, energy assistance, specifically heating assistance, and water utility assistance. Our senior services division, we have a full on-site kitchen. We have a chef. We have a dining hall. We have a congregate meal site. We have seniors that we pick up and bring. These are aging individuals. We have a community. We have a center where we have programming. We partner with other organizations to ensure that our seniors are thriving and are aging in place safely. We also do meal delivery. We do transportation. We take seniors from point A to point B all across Kent County for medical appointments or specific needs. We are a door-to-door service, and we do it countywide. Community development is, well, also for Senior Services Division, we offer case management and outreach services, so we work hand in hand with seniors to make sure they understand what they need and whatever other resources are in the community. Community development is an arm where we focus on affordable housing, public infrastructure projects with all the villages and municipalities. We have really been investing in the preservation of our housing stock with this group, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. This is also the division where we fund other nonprofit organizations in Kent County, specifically in housing. It depends on our strategic plan, but these are the dollars, the federal dollars that we leverage and put back out into the community. Whereas we may not necessarily do the services ourselves, we partner with other agencies to help do the work. This is our funding structure. We are primarily federally funded, whether it's through the federal government directly or a pass-through through the state. Our major funding sources are Community Services Block Grant, which is why we are a community action entity. Our weatherization funding, our community development block grant funding, which is our community development, main community development funding source, along with our home grant. Senior millage does play a huge role in our senior services programming. And then LIHEAP, which actually recently doubled, and that feeds into our home repair and weatherization program services. But you can see, obviously, the breakdown here of where the funding that we operate comes from. Primarily federally funded. Some of our goals, be recognized as a leader in fighting poverty in Kent County, ensure that our services are equitable and accessible to all residents, have a level of operational excellence where we respond creatively and effectively to changing needs, and that we offer person-centered, comprehensive, holistic services to our residents. Some of the objectives over 2025, that we prevent housing and other household crises through our emergency and specialized services programming, that we support healthy, safe, stable, cost-effective, and accessible housing for residents with low to moderate income, and that we provide high-quality services for our aging seniors age 60 and older to support their health, wellness, housing, and transportation needs. Some of the numbers for 2025, as I mentioned, over 125,000 food boxes last year in 2025 alone. We have over 50 partners in the community that we work with, food pantries, to make this program work. Volunteers, it's all volunteer driven. We'll talk about the number of volunteer hours we had. But you can see the increase that we've had over the last couple of years. 88,000 in 2023 has skyrocketed to over 125,000 food boxes. Our funding has not increased. Our funding has not increased. We've just been better at utilizing the dollars that we have, maximizing what we have to ensure that we can meet the rising costs and demand. Our housing restoration program is what we're calling it now. This is where we are doing home repair. We do loans through our community development programming, where folks can get their roof repaired. We are weatherizing homes, making more energy efficient, and we launched our lead reduction program last year. So this is a combination of the work that we're doing now. Most of it now we're doing in-house, whereas we're working with contractors directly. We're doing contractor development, workforce development initiatives to make sure that we have a force that is able to meet the demands. We are continuing to move forward in lead reduction. We're going to see the numbers go up in that space. Weatherization over 2026, you'll also see an increase. So I anticipate that the numbers in 2026 will be much higher than what you see here. But we've been pretty consistent over the last 3 years and the number of homes we've impacted. Community development investments, you can see that we're starting to see a little bit of a downtrend. We're kind of falling off that pandemic era of dollars. We have a little bit less to invest, but we're going to see some higher investments with our home dollars, which we've been trying to find a specific match to help us get those dollars out the door. So we're anticipating with some of the creativity we've done that we're going to see those numbers go up here in 2026. But you can see just, again, $2 to $3 million every year in investments in the community from our community development team. Number of rides provided to seniors. Last year, 2024, was a record year. 2025, this previous year, we kind of stayed on pace. We did have a couple issues with some of our drivers that we weren't able to meet the units, but we anticipate now that we've added a few more drivers that we're going to be able to increase that. But you can see that from 2023, the number is still increased in the number of rides that we provide to seniors across Kent County. This is overall. I won't read through all of these. This is the impact that we've had over 2025. I'll highlight a few of those. Over 56,000 residents in Kent County are impacted by our program. Over 14,000, almost 15,000 families are impacted. We talked about volunteers, over 64,000 volunteer hours. This is throughout our 50 partners and those that volunteer directly with us. One of the things that I always like to highlight is our customer satisfaction rating. We are all about customer service. We have a 97% customer satisfaction rating. We survey residents to make sure that we are offering services at the highest level. Increases to the number of case management hours, over 4,000 hours. That's an increase of 1,000 from 2024. We added an additional person to help meet the need to ensure that we're case managing our seniors effectively. And so you can see the increase there, which is a good increase. The number of meals delivered for our seniors, 15,766. You can see a few other things there. Utility payments also increased. The number of payments per utility has increased as well. But these are all numbers, but these are real people, right? These are folks that we work with day in and day out. We have a senior that here in 2025, they were struggling with their bills. They couldn't afford they got a loan, and all of a sudden they couldn't afford. So we had a case manager that was able to work with them to contact their loan service provider, renegotiate their loan, find a low-income program for them so that their payment could go down. Oh, by the way, let's also check your other utilities. Oh, your cable, let's find another provider. Let's look at all these different things. We worked with them day in, day out so that we can make sure that they had a budget that they could survive on, because it's a fixed income. They're not going to make any more money. So how can we work within your current utilities and make sure that you are able to survive and afford your home and you don't get into a difficult situation? These are the things that we do with seniors on a regular basis. We had an individual here with our utility assistants. This is a couple. The spouse had a medical situation. All of a sudden, they've got all these medical bills they had to catch up on. And so hey, I'm going to make a difficult decision. I'm not going to pay some of the utilities right now. I'm going to hold up on the rent because I want to make sure that we're not owing a lot of money on the medical bills. We want them to come to us sooner, but they came to us with all these challenges, and we were able to resolve them, and they're able to keep their home. We're able to catch them up on their utilities. They're able to figure out how they're going to pay their medical bills over time through a payment plan. These are things that, again, our case managers do day in, day out to ensure that our community, those that are struggling, can thrive. These are some really cool major events that we had over the course of 2025. One of the big things is Community Action. The state association, which I'm on the board of, held their summer conference in Grand Rapids, Michigan. 200 individuals over 250 individuals came, 27 different community action agencies. I was able to be on a couple panels. They allowed me to talk since we were the host community. Me being on the board may or may not have had something to do with them coming to Grand Rapids, but we got them here. They really loved it. They enjoyed the city. They enjoyed the county. And so we're hoping that they'll come back in a few years. We had a really successful legislative day in Lansing. Representative Glanville was a great host for us. She made sure that we had a great opportunity to engage and talk through a bunch of folks. The entire association was there. Again, 27 different community action agencies in Lansing, and it was a great honor. CSBG Modernization Act, again, I'll call out Representative Glanville for her work in helping us move that forward. That allowed CSBG to work better, our Community Services Block Grant, which is our community action entity designated fund, to work better in Michigan. We were a little behind the schedule with that, and Representative Glanville took that on and helped that get that through. Happy Homes, Happy Hearts Initiative, our own Commissioner Nancy Morales said, hey, I want to put together an event. And I said, okay, don't let me slow you down. She went for it, put together the event. It was a great one. We already have a sponsor for the next luncheon, so we're really excited to keep that going. We honored a volunteer. We honored the community members that really help us, and so we're going to keep that luncheon going. We hosted it right on our site, which we're, again, Commissioner Morales went forward with that and did a great job. National Community Action Partnership in Detroit. So this is the national community action, over 1,000 agencies in Michigan. So Michigan had a big year for community action, and we were able to attend, and it was a great showing. Last, I've been the chair of the eviction prevention pilot through Housing Kent in partnership with United Way. We got a lot of recognition for the work we're doing there. Last time I checked, 130 families where we case managed them intensively, used flexible funds to pay their rent or other emergencies, and after a year, those folks are still housed. It's an intensive case management approach, which I have been, I'll say, championing since I moved here to West Michigan, and without the help of Housing Kent or United Way, that work would not have moved forward. Walk for Warmth, coming up at the end of February, February 28th. I invite all of you to attend. It is our biggest one, I think, yet. The momentum has been growing. We took a hiatus during the pandemic. We came back, and every year we take this big group photo, and that group photo is getting bigger. We're now coming outside of our building because it's too small where we are. So I will say, please come. It's a family-friendly event, a pet-friendly event. Bring your pets, bring your families. It is our one opportunity to spread awareness for the need in our community for folks that are struggling. We use 100% of the donations that we raise to go back into the community. We don't take a penny to make sure that we meet the demand. There's a lot of working families that are over the income threshold of some of our grants, so we use this fund to make sure that no one gets turned away. We have a sponsor, a title sponsor this year, Consumers Energy. We have 3 other sponsors that have come this year. We've raised more money before the event than we've ever had. Now, we still need more because the demand is still high. So if you're not able to attend, if you find it in your heart, share the word, spread the word. If you donate, please donate. If you want to share the information, we'd love to have more folks join us for the walk. I'm bringing my family. I'm bringing our dog, Coda. bring everybody. I'd love to have you all there. Some of the challenges and solutions, I'll go quickly through this. Obviously, we're really concerned about the federal and state funding. As I mentioned, we are primarily federally funded, so we were watching all that very closely. I spoke to more state and federal legislators than I've ever spoken to before, and I appreciate Al and Jenny for helping us and navigate some of those things, and Josh Spencer as well. Also on our associations, really trying to make sure that we were spreading the right message and letting people know, in education-wise, what we actually do and why we need the funding. And I can say, obviously, it worked, right? In some way, we did our part, and we are still here. So that was a level of uncertainty that, as a department and our team were facing. We did a lot of scenario planning. We did a lot of engagement, which was really good for us as a team, and we really grew a lot in that space. As I mentioned, we had some issues with contractors and workforce recruitment, so that's where we started doing training. So we've had the first weatherization training in West Michigan here held in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that the state has ever had. So we're going to do that going forward. We have the space, we have the site, we have the momentum. So now we're going to be doing more lead training opportunities for contractors, weatherization training for contractors, and that's going to continue to grow. The idea is bring the contractors to our space, introduce ourselves, and hey, this is how you can work better with us. We need more contractors. And we need more folks that are working in that space as well. Weatherization leadership, we did have a transition. Our longtime weatherization supervisor retired after many years. I did convince him to stay on as a, as a contract auditor, so that's helpful. But we brought in someone new, and they've hit the ground running. We are doing multifamily homes. We've never done multifamily homes in Kent County, and we are one of 7 counties that are doing multifamily homes, which means we are going to have more units than we've ever had. We're really excited about it. It has not been an easy lift, but our new leadership team for weatherization, you know, we moved it all over under community development and housing because that's where they're already working with contractors, they're already going in homes. It makes more sense to do that. Since then, they've just gone with it and ran with it. And I will say we have probably the most efficient weatherization team, given the last few years of slowdown with everything happening, that we've ever had. And so I'm really excited about the work they're doing there. Funding match requirements has been a challenge for us. These federal dollars, you know, they require either a 10% match, a 20% match, or 25% match, which we don't have. So we've had to think a little bit more creatively on how we use these dollars. And we've already been having conversations with other agencies that could come up with that match, because what I don't want to do is send that money back to HUD. I want it to stay here in Kent County. I want to use it. So we're partnering with some different organizations. We're looking at opportunities. I mentioned a little bit ago that we're still working through all that. So a couple of different ways on how we can use some of our home dollars and our community development block grant dollars. Where are we headed? Culture change and organizational excellence. One thing I've been pushing with our department. I've been on a mission, on a journey to make our space the, I'll say, I want people to come to work and enjoy, even if the work is tedious and the work in between, or the work that they're doing can be difficult, the in-between does not have to be, right? I want them to generally enjoy their being in the space. We have a really cool space we've been renovating. I invite all of you to come see it. We've painted walls, we've put our logo up, we've made a really cool inviting space. We have a really nice lobby and a really nice employee lounge that we've put in. And so it's really just a great space for them to be in, and we want to continue that work. We're going to be focusing more on board engagement and development. I want to thank our board member, he's our new board member, Jim Davis. He just joined and said, hey, I want to come check this out. So we're going to do a lot more of that, creating some committees and doing more work. I want an engaging board. I want them to do more work, and I'm going to test them on that. Accessible and equitable programs. We've been working on a universal intake. We've been testing it out. We're hoping to launch it here March 1. This will be an online interactive way for our community to reach our resources, and they can just go to our website, fill out a form, and we're able to connect them. They've been calling us, leaving a message for way too long. We've been working with a developer for this universal intake, and we're really excited to get launched here this year. Continue braiding internal programming and funding. We're completing our community needs assessment this year. We are partnering with actually the health department for the survey portion of this. The complaint I've been getting is that there's too many surveys going on. There's two needs assessment surveys coming out of the county. Which one do I fill out? So let's do one survey. Let's work with the health department. They've got a really great survey. Let's make sure it meets our needs, and then they have a greater reach. So we're going to be able to get more information and have a more robust community needs assessment survey. And so we're really excited about that. We got a lot of recognition for the last needs assessment we did in 2023. We're going to feel like this is going to be a lot better. And so really excited to work with the health department in that space. More community awareness. We're working on that community impact dashboard, which is something that I've been kind of working on my own to make that happen so that the community knows where our services are going, what communities are being impacted. We have a community profile that we've been working on, and we're going to kind of tie that in with our needs assessment and launch when that is completed. And then more community partner collaborations, as I mentioned, as our funding sources become more difficult to expend. I need more partnerships and more collaboration to make sure we can get those dollars out. The preservation of our housing stock, this is the biggest thing. There's a lot of dollars on the table at the state and federal level that were never in jeopardy. There's a lot of money there that we can go, but it's a capacity thing. And I want to look at those strategically on how we can continue to expand that, whether we're doing it ourselves or working with partner agencies to make sure that we can preserve more homes in Kent County. There's a lot of aging homes, and I can tell you this, when I started looking for a home, and I was really shocked at how old these homes are, but we have a program that can help, especially for families that can't afford to do it on their own. I think I spoke really fast. I tried to. Any questions?
Oh, you did great. Thank you, Gustavo. Appreciate it. Commissioners. Commissioner LeGrand.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Gustavo, for that report. I want to circle back to the eviction prevention pilot. Is that going to continue, or has that concluded because it was just a pilot? Because that sounds incredibly important.
What's one of the things I've been, as I mentioned, pushing since I moved to West Michigan is the coordination of a true eviction prevention pilot. There's one in the city of Grand Rapids with the partnership of the Salvation Army, City of Grand Rapids, and the court system there, but it was only within the city, so how can we expand that and enlarge that? We took out a lot of lessons learned from what we did during the COVID emergency rental assistance era, which I managed when I was at the United Way, and so we took those best practices and what we could have done differently. United Way is still fundraising for that. They're trying to bring in flexible dollars. We've been leveraging all the partnerships. They meet in our space. We have a huge conference room, and so we meet once a month, either in person or virtually, and we discuss kind of the challenges, what's going on with that. The outcomes are there, right? Flexible funding, intensive case management works. I know it works. I did it in Texas when I was there. I knew it would work here. It is working, 95% success rate on most of these families. So how do we continue that work? The challenge is the funding, right? How do we get the funding? The number of case managers that we have in our community is not enough. More funding, right? So it's a little bit of that. So let's show the outcomes, let's show that it works. Now let's generate the funding. So that's where the challenge is right now, is how do we get more funding to continue the work?
Thank you.
Gustavo, with the rent eviction prevention programs, is it, sometimes with tenants, it's not always that they're not paying their rent. It's they're getting evicted because of the way they're maintaining the inside of that residence. So with these prevention programs, is it, are you educating as well as far as, you got to clean up this place, you got to respect this, this home that you're staying in? I mean, is it, I guess, what are you teaching them? I mean, within that program too?
So we have ran, prior to, at our department, we did a kind of landlord and tenant, like, you know, this is the do's and don'ts of renting, right? And so we did that through our housing commission. We did that for many years. We partnered with a couple agencies to do that. With the partnership with Housing Kent and with United Way, the work that they've been doing is to build partnerships with landlords, understanding that these are folks that are challenging in some situations. How do we alleviate that situation or alleviate those concerns? And it really is like, if there's a problem with this tenant, who do I call? They don't have anyone to call. Oh, no, call us. We will come in and figure that situation out. So that's been really helpful. We have some landlords that we've been working with that haven't raised their rent in 5 years. We have some landlords that are working with their families because they don't want to go through the eviction process because it is so challenging. So let's work with this case manager. Let's work with this tenant. I don't want to have to put someone on the street. These are landlords I'm talking about. In our eviction prevention meetings, we have landlords that are showing up because they need to be at the table. They need to understand what we're doing. We can't be making decisions without them. So, you know, it's a partnership, it's collaboration, and it's not going to be easy. We have folks that are really struggling, and there's a reason they're in their situation, but it doesn't mean that we can't try to help them.
Yeah, great, thank you. Commissioner Steck.
Thank you, Chair Burrow. Good morning, Gustavo. Thank you for the report. I've sat on the governing board for KCCA before you were here. But I've watched the operations and the program of KCCA really grow and strengthen and be much more effective. So I'm sure you had a lot to do with that, so thank you for that. One of the conversations I remember when I did sit on the governing board, it was a really good, frank conversation, was in response to a recommendation that in our mission statement, our vision statement, we declare that KCCA is here to eliminate poverty in Kent County. And I remember that, says, wait, we do almost nothing that eliminates poverty. They're not strategically calculated to eliminate poverty. They're calculated to address those sorts of essential needs that evolve out of living in poverty. And it seems to me that still a lot of the programming that you are administering is still focused on that. So if you are living at a poverty level, you have times when you need food, and we do that. There are times when you need this and that. And so this is sort of the voice of justice that reaches out when those needs become emergent. There's somebody there to provide that. But I still wonder, are there funding programs out there that actually enable you to look at strategies to move people out of poverty, so they don't sit there in need of assistance from time to time when it comes to their inability to pay their utilities and so on. Arguably, housing can do that. I mean, a development of wealth through real estate, owning your own home, that's a significant methodology, I think, for doing that. It's long-term, and sometimes it's not so successful, but at least it seems to me it is a way of doing that. But I guess my question is, what else is out there that at least you can put in the quiver that says, look, there are some programming that allows us to begin to show individuals, families, strategies to actually get to the point where you're never going to call us again?
That's our goal, Commissioner Steck, and I appreciate you asking that question. This is what I've been doing for the better part of 20 years. And so the idea is to stabilize households long-term, believing in a hand-up, not a handout, right? And so the programming, the way most of it is designed with the federal government, it's quick. We have to get the money out. It leaves little room for case management, which is where the eviction prevention pilot stemmed from, is the need for case management. During the COVID emergency era, rental assistance, there was a lot of money, get it out the door, we have 18 months to do it. We did it, but it left little room for case management. So this is why we added for our seniors an additional case manager, because what they try to do is that those seniors aren't going to be able to make more money, but how can we ensure that we stabilize them so they're not coming to us on a regular basis? We need to case manage them. There's some things that some of us will take for granted that we may have learned over time. There's some things they were never taught. They don't understand. They don't understand how to build wealth. They don't understand how a mortgage works. They don't understand how credit cards work. Oh, free money, let's use that. No, there's some things that they're not aware of. So it's partnerships with some nonprofits that are doing education for our residents, making sure they understand what they're signing, what they're going into. There's homeownership is out of reach for a lot of our residents in Kent County. There's a lot of work happening through a collective for that, but that's going to take time. How do you make sure that we don't create a cliff for a lot of folks that where they're going to be in a more difficult situation? Our goal is that they don't come back to us. There's not enough money in case management, even for some of the stuff that's come out with the 100-100 initiative, the amount of case managers they had with the amount of folks that are in there. There's still more folks that are unhoused. There's not enough case managers. Case management costs money. Rental utility assistance costs money. There's not enough dollars to meet the demand that we have. So how do we make it more impactful? You're going to have to work with families a little bit longer. I ran a permanent supportive housing program in South Texas. It was the first permanent supportive housing program in that area of the state. We launched it with the initiative that we were going to work with chronically homeless individuals that are disabled, and it meant that we were going to work with them for a longer period of time. So you have folks that, for various reasons, it might be something small. It might be that they just don't understand how to budget, something as simple as that, to where there are just other issues there that it takes a collective to be able to make a successful impact. So it's not as easy as how do we stabilize. For a lot of folks that do come to us, there's some things that we can help them with. We're going to continue to do that. And the reality is there's not enough money out there, not enough programs out there. And believe me, we have looked through the Housing Commission for those types of programs, and we're just not finding them all. So my big push is we need some flexible dollars to come in the door. We're going to do intensive case management at the highest level that we can do, and we're going to try to stabilize some of these households and find the root of their cause, root of their situation, so we can improve. We can't do that with everybody. We're going to try as best we can, so I appreciate you elevating that.
Well, and I would really encourage you to continue to do that and draw on the board wherever you go to do that. My experience was it's relatively easy to find ongoing funding if the need is utilities so they don't get shut off, or food so that you can feed people. And you can continue to do that, but we need to find a strategy that allows us to put more of these dollars, or at least additional dollars, up front so that we can strategize people out of that situation entirely, so you don't have to keep putting that money into these emergency need programs. You're always going to need them. I'm convinced of that. It's just the way society functions. But being able to take what you suggested there and say, we need to find places, federal, state, wherever it is, that will allow us to put more energy into that case management, so that we're taking a family and saying, you know what, there is a way for you to shift from where you are now to a much more stable economic environment. That's where you really make a difference in people's lives.
You're speaking to the choir. And so
Okay.
there is so the idea is you resolve their immediate need, right? Because if they're worried about the rent, if they're worried about their light bill, if they're worried about the medical bill, they're not going to be focusing on strategies. They're
Yeah, if
not
they
gonna-
can't eat, then you've got nobody to
Yeah,
save.
yeah, exactly. So you've got to get them out of that immediate need to a place where they can start to think a little bit more clearly and they have a sigh of relief. Okay, now let's focus on some plans. Let's work on your budget. Let's work on your bills. Let's, as I mentioned, we had case managers that were helping them and call their utility providers that this is what you do. This is case management. Let's help you figure out a solution so that you're not coming back to us on a regular basis. Now, there will be folks that do come back to us and we recognize that. But for the folks that are willing to have a conversation with us, because some of them won't, and we can't require them to, so can we work on a solution so that you're not coming back? And for the folks that are willing to come to the table, because our case managers are amazing. They do miracles every day, but they can't go 100%. They got to go 50% and you come the other 50%, and so that we can work together. If that person's not willing to come to us, then we're not able to help them. In some cases,
Yep.
we find that.
Well, I'd like to hear more stories like that. What are case managers doing? What's the effectiveness of that? What are we actually doing for people in shifting these families out of that environment? So, great work. Love to hear more about it. Let's keep at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's an invite to a cup of coffee. I'm in.
All right.
All right. Commissioners, Commissioner Faber.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much, Gustavo. I always look forward to this report. I don't know of another department in Kent County that's been as effective at leveraging outside resources as yours, and I just really appreciate your attention and your doggedness at going out and finding additional dollars. It's almost every month we're approving another grant request, so thank you for that. And all your work in really serving as a backbone organization. I know there are a lot of community partners that dovetail in with the work that you're doing. And so you've really, I think, built a really effective collaborative environment where people come together to help solve these issues. A couple quick questions, updates. So I know we approved the City of Wyoming CDBG dollars sort of flowing through us and out. Would love a quick update on that. I know it's relatively new and fresh, but how's that going? Anybody else knocking on your door? And then a little update on lead hazard work out county. I know that was a big push. City of Grand Rapids has been doing that for quite a while, other communities, but the goal was to push out county, and just how's that going? What do you see sort of happening in that space?
So for your, we'll talk about lead hazard real quick. It's the biggest thing with that is that we are in a capacity building with this grant that we have. So we've got contractor development, which we've been working on. We've been doing trainings. We have free assessments for folks that want one outside of the City of Grand Rapids for their home. And once they do that assessment, we're able to offer them with some of the ARPA dollars that we got to be able to offer the free lead assessment and then potentially a grant to help them with some of the reduction work. The HUD grant that we got, coinciding with that, was to build a capacity for a program that we can run to impact the homes outside of Grand Rapids. So we've had, just in 2025 is when we really launched it, we did about 35 homes where we did an assessment where we were in their home doing some lead reduction work. That number is going to increase. Here in 2026, the application for the continuation grant of that HUD, which will be the production grant, we're going to be able to do more homes. We've built the team now. We have a really good supervisor that we elevated. We have some folks from our home repair program that we've moved over, and we've added a couple other folks. And so now we have this really robust team. The idea is that we're going to go in and be able to address the lead, but hey, let's also make sure this home is energy efficient. Oh, by the way, do they need a new roof as well? Let's get them through our other programming. So that's what we're building. So the idea is that we're not just going for one thing or the other, we're going for the full thing, which is we're leading that in the state. And so we're on different committees and talking about how to do that and rating those dollars. So I will just elevate that and highlight that. So again, we're in the capacity building stage for that. We've done a lot of assessments, free lead assessments, which are still able to do. You can go online to the website, get to know, get ahead of lead website, and we're one of the resources listed for folks to get a free assessment. And we're continuing to push that program. I'm hoping here through the end, by middle of 2026, we'll have the numbers for that year, and I'll be able to get a better update of like the full year of us doing free lead assessments and some work on homes as well. But it's continuing to work, and we have been out to all the municipalities, villages, like we go out to the different corners of the county to promote that program. We were working with a couple of them, the municipalities that were like, hey, we want in first. How can we better coordinate this? So we've had some successes there. For the CDBG funding, Community Development Block Grant funding from Wyoming, that is still in transition. We are doing our, completing our strategic plan right now, which for the first time, we combine our strategic plan with our consolidated plan for HUD, and we have one strategic plan for the entire department. And so that was a heavy lift. In that consolidated plan, we've included the dollars for Wyoming. What we've told Wyoming for the Community Development Block Grant funding is that we're not going to change anything. You have existing programs, you have existing grants. We will probably carry those on through 2026. In 2027, it is a competitive application. We're going to work with those partners in advance so that no one gets like an abrupt funding cutoff or anything, right? So that's where those two things are. I hope that answered you.
All right, Commissioner Bujak.
Thank you, Chair Burrow. Gustavo, thank you so much for your presentation today and for being here. I did have a couple questions. Regarding services throughout the county, do you have a map that identifies where the recipients of these services are in Kent County? I'd be interested to see what that outreach is, like how many houses you weatherize in Sparta, how many houses you weatherize in Lowell, how many houses you weatherize in Alto. So, my guess would be that most of the services are internal to the city, but I want to know what's the impact countywide.
So I can tell you that we do have, we push a lot for outside of the city of Grand Rapids. A lot of our community development funding and home grant funding is all outside of the city of Grand Rapids. It has to be, by the way the grant is written in our jurisdiction. For the weatherization, it is countywide, and that program has existed for 50 years. That's part of the community impact dashboard that I'm working on, because I want that to be pretty transparent. I want people to see where our services are, and then where they can filter what services by service, right? And then they can zoom in, and I'm doing it using Power BI. And so a way that we can get all that. The issue I'm working with now is we have different softwares for different programs as required. So how do I kind of merge all that together? And so my plan here in 2026 is to work with our IT department to figure out how to get all of that data so that we can make it on Power BI, so we can make it public facing. I can probably run some reports and get you some details. It'll just take you a little bit of time to run all that. But it has been on the top of my mind to get through that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
constituents in my district, often tell me that, well, they aren't aware of these programs that are available to them, and so they're not using them. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how to direct them other than say, go to the Access Kent website and, look these things up yourself. It sounds like you have a promotion effort that's ongoing, and whatever we can do to, outreach to the entire county so that people know that these services are available would be much, appreciated.
And we've done a better job, I think, over the last year of just trying to get it in front of more of our villages and municipalities. Our lead reduction team with our community development team, they went on a roadshow and went and talked to a bunch of municipalities. And we'll still get like, oh, I didn't know about that, even from the folks in the city of Grand Rapids. So it's a continuous thing. I do a press run every year. When I do a press run, we get more calls. I was at Wood TV yesterday. I'll be at Fox 17 before the end of this month. And we're always pushing out the programs, right? So I think a lot of folks are aware, but it's some of those folks in the rural areas that we still have to try to get to. Some of the lead reduction work and weatherization work, those are real things that we've tried to make a bigger push for those folks out county. So I would be happy to, if there's ever some kind of meeting that we can go to in your area.
I'll sit down with you someday. We'll set up an
We
appointment.
can coordinate. I'd love to go there and we can
Okay.
I'll have the full presentation out, and then we'll have folks there to answer a lot of questions.
Thank you. Maybe I can get a meal from one of those chefs down there at while
Come
I'm
on
there.
by, come on by. It's a really good meal, and our seniors would love to, just don't play bingo with them. They're pretty aggressive.
All right, any other commissioners' comments? All right, seeing none, Gustavo, again, appreciate it. Staff does a great job and a lot of work to be done. I don't think you or your staff goes to work any day wondering what to do. So again, we appreciate the good work you do within the county.
Thank you. I'll give all the credit to my team. I have a fantastic team and board. I jokingly say I only come in to turn the lights on, but the lights are automated, so I'm not quite sure what I do. I have an amazing team. So thank you, everyone, for having me.
Okay, great. Thanks, Gustavo. All right, next item on our agenda, there are no action items, so we will go to Commissioner Miscellaneous. Any Commissioner Miscellaneous? All right, seeing none, again, remember the 24th, our meeting will be canceled. We have members going to NACO. Again, appreciate Gustavo and his team's willingness to move this up to accommodate the county commission and this committee. So again, seeing no other questions, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.